Shirley, thank you for coming to chat.
It's a pleasure.
You are the mother of mindfulness. You are the queen of calm, and it's amazing for me because you've got 5 kids. And I've got 3, and I'm thinking, how does she do that? So I wanted to just have a chat to you about mindfulness, being a mindful parent, and almost just get into your head, see how you do it, stuff like that.
Okay.
So tell me about how mindfulness has worked for you and your family, your big and busy family.
Yeah. Well, I sort of feel like I need to go back just why mindfulness. So for me, having 5 kids, it looked good on the outside. It really wasn't going well for me.
Yeah.
So there, inside the house, it was just stress. There was lots of yelling, lots of crying, mine as much as the kids. And I think I kind of lived on the fact that if you leave the house with 5 children that are relatively clean, you get so many compliments. Because mums are so, mostly mums, so gorgeous. They're just like, oh, you're amazing. And I was kind of living on this, oh, you're amazing. But
because you are.
Well, honestly, though, behind closed doors, it was really unpredictable for the kids. So I'd go from being this lovely, kind, fun, playful mum to just snapping, yelling, controlling, but really suddenly, like quite volatile. And I think all that build-up of trying so hard to keep, keep the home running, keep the kids going, feeling like I was all these, different roles that we play, even within the one role of the parent, let alone the working role. And I got quite desperate, actually. I think there were times where I just thought they just need a different, I'm not cut out for this. And I came across mindfulness as part of my counselling training.
Is that where you came across it?
Yeah, I did, although it wasn't taught very well, and so I kind of ignored it. Didn't see how. I
hear a lot about it, don't you? It's a real buzzword.
It's a real buzzword, and we had to chew a raisin slowly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which...
Cool idea.
Well, kind of, except I didn't really see how it was going to help me get
5
5 children out the door in the morning. I couldn't make the link. People were talking about this amazing calming thing, and I thought, neither for my clients nor my children can I see how this is going to work.
That is brilliant.
And then I think a couple of years later I understood more about how the brain works with mindfulness, and it was taught properly, and I understood about the research and the change of hormones in your brain, and I started to practice it and see significant differences in my own life.
Wow. So how did you go from chewing a raisin slowly to mindfully chewing a raisin? I just want to know how that happened, how it went from what is this thing that doesn't seem relevant to actually this is really good. Was it just you read a whole lot of research?
No, I actually took a course run by Renew Your Mind where I now work.
Right.
So I took the course, and I discovered that there's a whole area of brain research that I mean it should be taught in schools, it should be taught everywhere because it was profound for me. And I started to understand that we have these 3 brain states: red, orange, green.
Nice.
Red is fight, flight, stress, anxiety. Yeah, exactly. And I had that before I had 1 child.
Wow.
But once I had 5 children, I was red so often, so much of the time, just trying to manage all that cortisol.
Brain, is it like almost the panic, the yelling?
It's fight, flight. So it's basically when you're feeling either helpless and overwhelmed, or when you're feeling volatile and in a kind of
so
reactive.
that's a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like get into the car.
Yeah.
We'll pretty much do
it. Get into the car. I can't do this.
Yes.
So you go either way. Fight is when we're yelling and consequencing up to the hills and removing everything they feel that they love in order to get behaviour, or it's that feeling in the evening of I just need a glass of wine and for someone to take my children away for a few days. So that's red, and then orange. And I think when you start talking about it, so many parents go, oh, thank you for saying that there's a name for it. And there's an actual physiological state that we're in, so it means there's cortisol and adrenaline in the system. It's not so much it's not our fault, it's that that reactivity is actually happening inside our body. It's
yeah,
not
you can feel it, can't you? You can
it's not
feel
because
your
we're
heart.
morally flawed. It's
Right.
that something has actually triggered a threat in us where we feel out of control.
Oh, that is so nice. We're not morally flawed.
No, not
Because
at all.
in that moment, we actually feel like we are losing it and we're not being a very good parent and we give ourselves such a hard time. And you call that a red brain.
And I call that a red brain. And it's interesting what you've just said is because often red brain is actually double red. So we get the threat, can't get the children into the car.
Right.
Because they want to play.
Yeah.
But then we yell.
Right.
And then we tell ourselves off.
Oh, yes, we do.
And that's the double cortisol.
And then we give up. And then we start.
And then you got triple, quadruple.
And everyone's angry. The kids are angry. We're angry. Yeah. So tell me what to do with red brain. You said there were 3 brain states.
Yeah, so orange is the middle one.
Okay.
And orange is busy.
Okay.
It's competent, it's capable, it's getting on with things, it's got a to-do list, it's ticking lots of boxes.
That's every mum.
It's not me anymore.
Wow.
But it is a better version than red.
Okay.
In the sense that orange is kind of, it's got their stuff together.
Okay, yeah, you were about to swear. That's what you were about to do.
Probably
and you could have, and it would have been fine.
It would have been fine. It's got their stuff together. Means that, you know, they're vulnerable if loads of things go wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe there's too many red traffic lights on the way to work.
Yeah.
But generally just holding it. But the brain is ticking in the future almost all the time. So I'm having a chat with you, but I'm thinking about what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of hours to see if I'm ready.
So you're not overly present to the kids when you're an orange brain because you're actually logistically just running ahead.
Absolutely.
And you're making sure that everything's nailed down, but actually really not having such a good time.
You do a lot of to the kids. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But you're doing your pack and save shop, or
right?
I don't know. Whatever, counting down the hours.
Okay. So I'm really intrigued now about green brain because that must be the answer.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay.
It absolutely is. And green brain is really interesting because it's really well researched now in terms of the neuroscience behind it. Green brain is the brain state we were born to live from.
Really?
It's not the resting brain. It's the brain state. It's full of serotonin, oxytocin, and dopamine.
What are they?
So serotonin is the feel-good, well-being one. It's the one at the base of most antidepressant medications to make sure we don't have too little of them. So for some people, they have a lower range of serotonin. Oxytocin is the connection one. It's the love one. Any positive connection between you and somebody else. So obviously, hopefully, loads of that with your children. And dopamine is the reward one, so some sense of achievement.
So green brain is all those 3 together.
All those 3 together.
Without any medication.
Yeah.
Tell me now.
Yes.
Is this when you have to buy 3 packs to get the discount?
Yeah, exactly. Well, everybody, and me too, thinks that green brain is the resting, recovering brain.
Right.
So we rest in green, I don't know, a good TV program, a glass of wine, a holiday, Friday night, whatever it is, and we recover in order to go back into orange red for the rest of the day.
Yes, we do. And you're saying that we can be in green a lot of the time.
Yeah, so we're supposed to live, work, rest, play from green and go into red for emergencies. That's what the red brain is actually for, the child in the road.
Yeah.
Go into
really
red brain,
fast reaction.
fight, flight. That's what it's, and that would be an ideal world. But the way that I teach it is that I want to try and encourage people towards more green, even having it as home base. And we'll visit orange regularly, especially on busy days. We'll flip into red when we're, overwhelmed or too much has happened. But the idea is that we work and we rest and we play, because the green brain has actually got a really good flow to it. It recognises after a hard day's work that it's time to stop. It knows when it's ready to sleep. It knows when it's hungry.
So how much of your day realistically can be spent in green brain?
Oh gosh, I mean,
or your working week, with 5 kids.
Probably 60-70% of the time.
Wow, so you're just saving your orange brain for when you really need to step up and kind of get some extra adrenaline, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not a massively competent person in the sense that I don't have a whole bunch of lists. I mean, 5 children and a job is enough for me. I don't do the PTA and all the rest of it. But it means I will probably flip into red more quickly than orange.
Okay.
But for an orange brain person, does more orange than red still need more green,
Right.
and tipping over into orange.
Right.
Yeah. Partly because physiologically our
Right.
body's actually at its optimum state. So our digestive system, our immune system, our sleep cycles, our sex drive, all of those things function well in green and don't function at all well in orange, and even worse in red, which is why we know the green brain state is our natural, original designed state as opposed to orange or red. Yeah.
So talk me through now, because I'm very intrigued, how to get practical here. And you've got 5 kids and you've got to get them out of the door by 8:30, and you presumably have to get some yourself. And your kids are grown up now, so you've probably,
Well, the little ones are 9, so yeah, they're not grown up.
Okay,
But, yeah.
You're not doing
9,
shoes and socks by the
12,
door
15,
type
16,
thing,
no,
or
I'm not
car
doing-
seats and all that.
No,
So, because it's time, I find it's a special little cocktail of time criticalness, when you need to get somewhere on time and everyone's a bit tired. So for me, that's kind of, it used to be getting kids to school in the morning or out the door, in the car, out of the car, on a time critical kind of timeline. Talk me through how you do that in green brain, like practically. So do you just pour yourself a peppermint tea and kind of put your yoga pants on and kind of
and go for it,
tiptoe around
that'd be
on
great.
your
Pop into the
tiptoes
shop and buy
say,
some green brain in the morning.
I really want to know how
the
you do this.
difficulty about this is we
In a rush.
Well, we live in such a how do I get it now?
Yes,
society.
that's what I'm asking you right now.
You can't because it's a brain pathway.
Okay.
So the wonderful thing about mindfulness is it can't not work if you do it with repetition. It absolutely will work.
Right.
The difficulty is you can't grab it in the moment. It would be a bit like saying, let's go and run a marathon, but I actually haven't jogged to the corner of the street.
Okay.
So the way that mindfulness works is we do a series of really short, being in the present moment with kindness and attention exercises.
I just sort of raisins when you see that.
Yeah, exactly.
To get the raisins
No,
out.
I don't. I do it with coffee or wine.
Okay, how do you do it with
or
wine?
sunshine.
How do you do it with
So
wine? Or
you
coffee?
use your 5 senses.
Yeah.
So touch, taste, smell, whatever the other ones are. Can't remember on camera. Sight,
hearing.
hearing. Well done.
Yeah.
So you can do any one of those or all 5 of them or just your breathing. And the idea is you just spend 2 or 3 minutes noticing with kindness and curiosity what it is that you can smell or taste or see or touch or hear. And your brain will come into green, whatever you do.
Wow, so
Can't help
you're
it.
talking about doing something to like me in the moment. Yeah,
not for our children.
Yeah. But in the actual moment.
Oh, in
with
the moment.
The children.
Again, I would say that's like running a marathon without running to the corner. You have to try this outside the conflict zone. You can't try it.
Okay,
So
that's
the
critical
idea
piece
is that
for
our
me.
brain is starting to marinate in green on a daily basis. It's like getting fit. It's exactly the same as getting fit.
Right.
So you're practicing so that your brain is becoming used to being in green. It's becoming used to dipping in and out of green every day. And it starts to actually get really resistant to orange.
Right. And the way to really, you can't do it in the time of conflict, which is really interesting, my question, where it's all going off and you're under pressure. You are actually going to perhaps have an...
Maybe, although what I've found now is that my brain has so much green in it, is that 2 things happen. So in terms of the actual relationship with our children, empathy and boundaries are the 2 key components underneath mindfulness. And so with empathy and boundaries, it means in the mornings, but you can only do it in green. So you have to have the background of green, if that makes sense. I have a huge amount of empathy for how hard it is for them to get themselves ready.
So you can...
But I also have really firm boundaries, which is we're leaving anyway.
Wow.
So you will leave in your pyjamas if you're in your pyjamas, and you will leave without any food if you haven't made your lunch.
And
but
I
we're
noticed
still leaving.
you were saying it to me so kindly. So it's
Makes perfect
empathy,
sense.
kindness and boundaries.
Yeah, so empathy has the kindness element in it. It makes perfect sense. Who wants to go to school when you could play?
Great.
But we're going to school.
Oh my goodness.
And
I
we're
so
leaving
want
in
to
10
hear
minutes.
more.
So
We can
let
have
me
a-
know if you need any help. But when they're raging and they've lost things and they think it's all your fault that they're leaving and they don't want to, that green brain background is crucial because otherwise you just start yelling.
Okay.
And the final piece to that I found with green is that time gets longer. That sounds like such a weird thing to say, but my mornings feel like they've got so much time in them now. Because the children age and stage appropriate, but they either have one job or they have five. Not dishwasher, to get themselves ready, to remember what they need. And the little ones obviously just have lunch and clothes, and the bigger ones might have to remember other things, but that's their job. It's not mine.
Okay, I definitely want to hear more, but our time's up. It's brilliant. I feel a
great
green
to
brain
talk to
just by
you.
talking to you.
That's cool.
Thank you.